We're staying in the field of anti-Semitism, a topic widely covered in our newscast. And today with us in studio is pro-Israeli speaker and influencer Hananya Naftali. Hi, Hananya. Thank you so much for making time
Thanks
for us.
for having me.
So, Hananya, it's safe to say that anti-Semitism is rising immensely all over the world, but I'd like to spotlight more the US, the United States. Why in such a volume? Why now? And where do you see this going?
Look, I have to say that, first of all, it's a very worrying trend. And we have all heard Kanye West's recent remarks that he loves Hitler and he claims to love the Jews, but also love Nazis. Look, I think people have been saying that he's suffering from mental illness, but I don't know a mental illness that you just wake up in the morning and you say, I hate the Jews, DEFCON on the Jews. This is just unacceptable. And I do want to stress the fact that anti-Semitism is not a Jewish problem. It's a humanity problem because right now they are targeting the Jews, but they're not going to stop there. They're going to continue and they're going to target other minorities. So the fact that they're targeting the Jews right now, this should be an alarm for people around the world because Jews may be a minority right now that is being targeted, a target of hate crimes, but it's not going to stop there. And I also have to say that, you know, the FBI recently released a report regarding 2021 that 60% of the hate crimes targeted Jews. Now, I do want to point out that Jews are 0.2% of the entire world's population, and if I'm not wrong, around 2-point-something% of the US population. So just to give you a picture of how outrageous it is that 60% of the hate crimes, they target Jews, but Jews are only this small of a percentage of their population.
Also, but it's always been around, but it feels like in recent months, it's been the rise has been much bigger. I mean, it's insane. How can you explain that? I mean, why now? What's happening right now? Is there anything specific?
I think that this is a question that we are all asking ourselves because, look, anti-Semitism have been around for centuries. So it's I call it an ancient disease because it's been here, this jealousy of Jews. You know, we saw Kanye West saying that, you know, he put up this graphic with showing the Jewish executives in Hollywood and this film industries, and you know, out of hate. But we do need to remember the fact that these Jews that he speaks against, they're American citizens. So why all of a sudden they're Jews and not Americans? Because they're Americans that pay taxes, they contribute to the American society. So I do have to say that this is a question that we are asking ourselves, but anti-Semitism has been there for centuries, and it's a disease that we must fight with everything that we have, because I think that the word anti-Semitism takes the, we should call it Jew hatred, because this is exactly what it is.
Yes, and Hananya, I'd like to ask you that many believe that we can't just cancel or otherwise punish people with anti-Semitic views, and you yourself have been an Israeli activist for a very long time. What are authorities and Jewish community members doing right now in the field to battle anti-Semitism, to do something about it? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can be done?
That's a great question. I can tell you from my point of view, I was born and raised in Israel, and I grew up to love my Jewish culture and traditions. And I think that the way we need to combat anti-Semitism is to simply tell our story, you know, from our personal perspective. Because it feels like, to me as a Jew, it feels like these anti-Semites or people that oppose the Jews, they treat us like we're rats, like we're a problem. But we're just normal human beings that we have our faith. We go to the synagogue. Our synagogues should not have these heavy security. I was actually shocked when I visited Europe for the first time. I visited Germany and I wanted to enter a synagogue and I had to go through an airport level security just to pray. And I think that this is a question that we all should ask ourselves. Why don't we see security in other places of worship? Why are the Jews targeted for having their personal faith? We do not need to conceal our identity. You know, this is a huge problem.
Do you think we're enough? I mean, when there's a war, an operation here in Israel, we see big influencers like Bella Hadid, like Gigi Hadid, people you don't even want to mention their names in a studio like this. But you see one post they're posting is becoming so viral. And here in Israel, it seems like influencers, and there are not enough people like you, that's for sure, that want to put their voice out and speak for the Jewish people and for Israel especially. What can be done in the way of, like, should we put more budgets in it? I mean, what can be done, like, official-wise?
First of all, by all means, but I would say that unity. We need to be united. This is, our enemies are all over us, trying to devour us, and we need to be united. We have too much division, and we're so divided, and we cannot, they say that the Second Temple was destroyed because we were not united. There was inner hate. But moreover, I have to say that it is not present anti-Semitism that should intimidate us, but rather what the future will be if we don't combat anti-Semitism today. So by all means, I think that we need to tell our stories from the personal perspective. We're just normal human beings. We need to be united. We have one enemy. We have to be united and focus on that. And definitely the government should fund this campaign against hatred.
I totally agree. Hananya Naftali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.